Let me tell you why I'm legend. Here, right in the present. This is my confession. Please stop the guessing. They peeked through my window while I was stressing. They borrowed swag from me, it's clear, without a question. This is why I'm legend.
American basketball player Sonny Weems has been subjected to racial abuse from fans while playing in China. In a video circulating on social media, fans can be heard repeatedly shouting the N-word and "Get out of China" at 35-year-old Weems, who plays for the Guangdong Southern Tigers in the Chinese Basketball Association.
We're going to stop that right there. On to another episode of GunnaSpeaks. Swagcast, you know, the bop like a clock. Alright, so basically, what I just showed you guys was an excerpt of a United States basketball player, African-American basketball player, Sonny Weems. He plays overseas over there in China, in the Chinese league. And as he was coming out the bus, he was yelled at and degraded with the racial slurs. Now, it's understood that we are children of the slaves. It's understood that we are still in our own captivity over here. We still struggling. We are the lowest on the totem pole when it comes down to poverty and stuff like that. So it's also known that you know, the blacks, the Spanish, the Native Americans, well, the Latinos, let's say the Latinos and the Native Americans are all one tribe of people, you know, according to the Bible, the 12 tribes of Israel, the scattered sheep or the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So there's prophecies in the Bible that talk about this stuff and address some of these other nations coming against the nation of the Israel, well, let's say the Israelites, the Hebrews of the Bible, so-called African Americans, natives, and Latinos. So there's a history of this stuff that was prophesied in the Bible. So I'm going to show you guys an excerpt of one of the Hebrew Israelites, pretty much breaking that down, just so y'all can get a better understanding of what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to play this little short clip for you guys, just so y'all can get some understanding for what I'm actually referencing. So peep it.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies. What did God say? Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies. What did God say? Thou serve thine enemies. Read it right. Take your time from the top. Come on. Therefore, God said, therefore. Read the verse before, verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness. God told Moses, because the Israelites, who are the Israelites? Blacks and Hispanics. Right. Blacks and Hispanics are the same race of people. Right. He said, because you don't serve God with joy, read on, and with gladness of heart, come on, for the abundance of all things. What's the abundance of all things mean? The planet Earth was made for you. Was made for you. The earth. Read. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies. But because you don't want to keep the laws of God, I'm going to make you serve somebody else. Read. Which the Lord shall sin against thee. So who sent the white man against us? Which the Lord shall sin against thee. Who sent the Arabs against us? Which the Lord shall sin against thee. Who sent the Asians against us?
Asians, there you go.
The Lord shall sin against thee. You never knew that was in the Bible. But today is a different day. In hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness. When did black people have to serve another race of people for food, water, and clothes? When did that happen?
Okay, so the main point of that clip was pretty much to show you guys what it says in the Bible in reference to the African Americans or the blacks, the Latinos, and the natives, Native Americans of the land. So basically, it's telling you God first off, holy means separated. So he separated the nations. Everybody had their own nation, and they had their own customs and their own languages, right? There was no such thing as an integration at this time, right? Nevertheless, there were places where everybody was intertwined and mingled, like the Greeks and during the Roman time and all this type of stuff. Even in Egypt, just so happened that some of us, shared some of the same complexion or whatever the case may be. So it's hard to tell who's who, right? Nevertheless, this excerpt is pretty much just letting you know who those chosen people are and who that tribe is, or who that nation of people are, right? The scattered nation of people. So when he references God putting these people against you, these other nations against you, the white nations, the Chinese, the Arabs, if you could really open your eyes and just pay attention, and just think about this stuff, in every neighborhood where there's black people, is always some other nation of people. Like the Arabs got all the stores, right? At one point in time in New York, especially from New York City, I'm from New York, right? So at one point in time, the Spanish, a lot of Latinos owned the corner stores and the delis and all that. Then over time, it just got oversaturated with the Arabs. So now the Arabs now runs mostly all the stores. You go to any store in pretty much in Harlem, or pretty much the 5 boroughs, you see the Arabs running the stores, right? And of course, the Chinese always had the Chinese restaurants. They've been having their restaurants in our neighborhoods for the longest. And I know you guys know that they don't bring nothing back to our neighborhoods or help us at all. They just take our money and they go back to their neighborhoods. They don't live in our neighborhoods or nothing like that. And then the first time something happened with the Asians, they get all these type of rights and all that, even over you guys. Like, we've been over here in captivity, been in slavery, all this type of stuff. And we still don't get no rights. They still have more rights than us. They still have more opportunities to open up businesses and to be flourishing businesses on top of that. So this is pretty much, according to the Bible, this was a curse ordained by God just because we wasn't following the law, statutes, or commandments. And these are our traditions as a nation, right? As a nation, we were supposed to follow certain traditions, certain customs, and we just went against what God ordained for us to do. Again, we were the chosen people ordained by God, and he had these commandments and these instructions only for those chosen people, right? Which are the blacks, Hispanics, the Latinos, and Native Americans. So I'm going to play the other clip again just so you can see what's going on again. So this is one nation going against another nation, right? Even as you see it as an individual, this is overall how the Chinese people feel about the African American, the so-called black man. And this is everywhere we go, Now, when we step on they turf and we're in China and they nation, this is exactly the treatment we get, So it's important that we pay attention and be mindful of history and be mindful of the examples that was already left by these nations. They already displayed to you guys over and over again that they really don't have no care for what we really got going on. Like, we have to really rectify some of these issues on our own. We can't keep trying to integrate and try to be a part of every race and try to be cool and all nice to everybody, because overall, this is the treatment we get. You know what I'm saying? When these people come into our neighborhoods, we don't treat them that way. We give them our money. You know what I'm saying? We look out for them, and at certain times, I've seen it. You know what I mean? Most of the stores and all that, we treat them like they our brothers and our sisters, and when in all reality, these people were formed to come against you. And they show you that all the time. You can't go to Chinatown without being frowned upon. You can't even go to the African neighborhoods in New York City and without being frowned upon to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Even the Africans know that you're not the Africans, and they don't really deal with you as a nation. When they come over here from Africa, they get told, oh, these don't deal with the African Americans. I've heard this come out of the Africans' mouth, like certain African people that's over here from Ghana or whatever the case may be. I've heard this out of their mouths. You know what I mean? Nigerians. So a lot of these nations of people don't really mess with the African American, the Latinos, or the natives of the land. They just really don't. And we gotta stop being side-eyed about this. We gotta stop acting like we don't understand what's going on, or like we don't see it. Just because you say, oh, maybe it was one nice guy or one nice white man or one nice, Chinese person, one nice Arab. We can't necessarily say that as a whole for a nation. You know what I'm saying? If it's 10,000 snakes and just probably 1,000 of them is poisonous, venomous snakes, you ain't gonna go inside the house knowing that it's 10,000 overall potential poisonous snakes just because one of them seems to be non-poisonous. You know what I'm saying? You just got to acknowledge that the other amount of snakes, right, is the poisonous one. There's more poisonous snakes than non-poisonous. So you're not going to take the risk to sacrifice yourself because you believe one of them is good. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the metaphor in terms of what we got to start really taking heed to when we hear these other nations coming against us the way they do. It's they formed against us. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember, if we were united as a nation, like the way it was designed before we came over here in captivity, before the natives were taken into captivity, before the West Coast Africans were brought over here in bondage, you know what I'm saying? Latinos and all that. We had a heritage. There was a language that was spoken that was stripped, beaten out of you, and this was a job done by all the other nations. All the other nations had us under bondage at one point in time. I mean, the Arabs had us. The Greeks had us. And this is the second time they pretty much got us. You know what I'm saying? Like, Egyptians. This is all his story. We ain't got to keep, reiterating that history. Y'all could go look it up yourselves. You know what I'm saying? People that go to church or they into the Bible, you could read it in the Bible. You know, you could Google some of this information, most of it, and see it for yourself. But I just wanted to say that because I think it's important that we all understand what the nation is. Nation and ethnicity are two different things, like your race or your people. Because when they put these tags on you, you just thought, oh, I'm black, and then they Latino or Puerto Rican or Dominican. Not even the Puerto Ricans and Dominicans understand that they the same people. Because one, they identify with two different flags. So automatically, that's called a divide and conquer tactic or technique. You know what I mean? They all speak Spanish. They all kind of look the same shades and same. You got dark skin and then light skin Puerto Ricans, dark skin and light skin Dominicans. But for some reason, just because they from different land masses or what in captivity in two different land masses, they think they different people. Not knowing that if they put themselves back together as a nation as we once were, that we are pretty much overruled because the earth was pretty much given to the hands of the wicked at this point, but it was ordained for us. So we come back together as a nation, black people, Latinos, and indigenous Indians, then we'll be back in order, and these other nations wouldn't rule over us the way they do. Everybody had a participation. Everybody had a hand in us being slaves and forcing us into captivity. And to this day, 2022, this is in 2022, this is still going on, and they still frown upon our nation. And they still look down on our nation, and they still in cahoots with each other to keep us at the bottom. So here's the video again. Y'all can hear it yourselves. Get out of China, right? Nigga. Overall, nigga means black. You know what I mean? It's not like necessarily some super extra derogatory term, because we all heard it before. We've been called niggas and spics and, whatever they decide to want to call us. But this is what these other nations think of you. So when y'all over here giving all y'all money to the Chinese restaurant for 4 chicken wings and 5 rice, just remind yourself of these videos that I'm showing y'all and how these people really think of you. Everybody smiles when they taking your money. Ain't nobody got nothing bad to say when they taking your money. You know what I'm saying? When they in your neighborhoods, infiltrating your corners and your delis and all that, feeding you whatever they want to feed you. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know what these people be putting in the food. We don't know what they doing to the food. They're already calling you nigga. When they in their households and they in their private time, they definitely calling you a nigga. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop being like super naive and act like we don't understand none of this stuff. We gotta come back as a nation, come back as people, because we all a part of the same people. You know what I'm saying? We all come from the same bloodline. Jacob, 12 tribes. So let's play it one more time, man. Hear it yourself. These are the Chinese. They overhand your stores, your neighborhoods. This who give you your fried rice and your chicken wings. Yeah. Yeah. When we don't tell them to get out of Harlem, we don't tell them to get out of New York City, we giving them our money every day, going to get Chinese wings. You know what I'm saying? Fried rice. You know what I'm saying? Fried rib tips and all that. You know what I mean? Which y'all ain't really supposed to even eat anyway. Y'all ain't supposed to be eating pork. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, going to them, get all your food. We go to our enemies for food, clothing, and shelter. All the cotton you picked and all that shit, you still got to go to your enemy to get this stuff. Your ancestors picked cotton. You stand here today, forgot that you a product of your own people. You, your grandmother, just because your grandmother died or your grandpops died, that's still your family. His pops is still your family. His pops is still your family. So just because it seems too far-fetched, it seems a little far back, we done forgot that our people done actually picked all this cotton, did all this shit for free, never been compensated for it. You know what I'm saying? No laws really been geared towards the repayment of these people, right? Which is us, because we the products of our forefathers, right? Just like the white man and everybody else, the product of their forefathers. You know what I mean? George Washington and them, they still got their descendants here right now today. Still got the all your shit that they stole from you. Your history, your knowledge of self and all that shit, your language. They got all this shit and they got them shit in the Vatican. They got all your history and documentation on you in the Vatican and shit like this. They still got all your property and all your resources, all your money. And they sit there and smile in your face every day. You gotta stop being so stupid, man. But I show these videos because I think it's super important that we understand. Regardless if people don't want to read and people don't want to listen and, you know, other people tell you stuff like that. We always got to make a justification. Oh, you know, I got a white friend and he's cool. You know, my friend here, he's Chinese, he's cool. All right, cool, it's cool. But understand who people are, just overall. It's not about individuals, it's about an overall nation. We got to stop letting these people infiltrate us. That's what happened with Christopher Columbus and them. Thought these people was cool. Oh, nah, one of them is cool, he's cool. And yeah, and the whole nation took you over. Your whole nation went in captivity. Your grandmother and everybody, the kids, everybody. They didn't say, oh, nah, this is one nice Spanish, Taino lady. This is a nice black lady or African lady. They ain't say none of that shit. Oh, she's so old, I'm not going to put her in captivity. They was enslaved in chains. Your grandmother, grandfather, the kids, your auntie, uncle, cousin, everybody. They ain't discriminate. We got to stop acting like, you know, we got to make excuses for them every time. Like, they owe us. All of these nations owe us. All of these nations take advantage of you. All of these nations don't like you. So y'all could play like, oh, hate don't exist and all that. Even in the Bible, God said he hate Esau. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew that the white nation. Esau is the Edomites. That's the white nation. Moab is those are the Chinese and, you know, the Asian nations and all that. So God already told you that these people was going to come against you. And here in 2022, again, this is what's happening. So just be mindful. Don't be dumb. Pay attention. Know your history. Get into the books. Get into your studies. You know what I'm saying? Just go look back a little bit. Ask your grandfather. You still got your grandparents alive. Ask them questions. Ask them who their mother was, who their father was, and ask them the stories. What happened to them. You know what I mean? Don't be scared to ask questions. So it's another episode of GunnaSpeaks, and we just going to keep it 50-50 straight. You heard? Every video that we drop is just going to be something it's geared for thinking and geared for understanding and geared for history, man. I'm trying to teach the people, the masses, the best way I can, you know what I mean? Now, all of us is always in position to get out there and really make a difference like that. So with these platforms and stuff like that, we got a voice. So just trying to use my voice for the greater good and to open up the eyes of the masses of our people, of our nation. So we could come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of God. Come back to just being a whole again. Unity, right? Queen Latifah, unity, right? Talked about it all through history. I mean, so another episode of GunnaSpeaks. Y'all keep tuning in and share these videos. Hit that notification bell so y'all can get these these pop-ups, you know what I mean? Every time I drop a new video, y'all get these notifications. If y'all hit the notification bell, it'll pop up on your joint, on your phone, or whatever, your computer or whatever. Every time I upload a new video. So, again, this is another episode of GunnaSpeaks, and I'm off this, man. Peace. If you see me on YouTube or whatever, go hit the subscribe button. Ain't no thing, just hit the button. Bow!